Welcome to Tekidia Institute. I'm Ndubuisi, Ekekwe. I have been getting many questions from members in our community asking me how do they invest and what are the best investment strategies and when can they actually begin to invest. And to help to answer that question, I will just do something. I will share my simple experience. So I have called it personal economy because when I was in the university, in Federal University of Technology, Owerri, we did some courses in management and managing an organization of farms. Engineer Tons Manager was one of the finest they taught us in the third year university. They taught us accounting, explained financial statements, and many elements that were required for you to drive the formation of farms towards the utilization of factors of production to fix frictions which are evident in market systems. But in those courses, they didn't really go deep into how we could actually manage our own personal economy. So when I started job in Diamond Bank, I felt I needed to have my own strategy, just like the bank had its own strategy. The bank was trying to utilize the factors of production in order to grow the value that it has in that system. And Ndubuisi also has a responsibility to myself that the little money they were paying me a salary, that I will also have to do something good with it. So I came up with what I called 45-20-20-15 strategy. 45% of earnings and income, wages, everything go into self and family. Get a car, get a house, rent, get a nice suit, make sure you support your family. And 20% to training and developing myself, certification, master's degree. Other 20%, any other thing, just reserve fund. Nothing was mentioned, but it could be a rainy day fund. And then 15 specifically going into investment, focusing on stock, treasury bills, and other kinds of alternative investment systems. I felt that that 15% was critical to pay me for the good job I was doing for myself. And without investing in myself, I was not necessarily doing anything useful because Ndubuisi had to be paid, because Ndubuisi had to manage his own personal economy, just like Nigeria had, in order to make sure that the Nigerian economy was growing. So that investment was catalytic in whatever I was thinking that the future could bring. And to do that, I need to understand that expertise matters. And expertise is very critical. And I did not have that experience since I studied engineering in university. I'm not going to understand the financial systems at a deeper level because that was not my specialty. Just starting the banking job in less than 6 weeks. How are you going to have the capacity to actually participate at a very solid level within that system? So I now devise another strategy. There was a fellow chartered accountant, a highly respected man in the bank, Mr. George Abovobo. Now went to him and said, "Sir, it's your newspapers. Whenever they come, I see that you tick some certain stocks, and possibly those were the companies that you invested in. If I could just get a copy of that, or even sometimes when he has left, drop the newspaper, we'll just go into his office, think it, look at all those ones that he has ticked. And when the money comes at the end of the month, and I will go and buy those stocks." Because in a book, The Richest Man in Babylon, I understood one thing, that using experts actually helped me to avoid getting into own goals. So Mr. George Opofogo was the expert. And I didn't need to pay him. I just have to believe, because he was a highly respected accountant, that he knew what he was also doing. It turns out to be a Zen master in this business because those companies he was picking, ticking, moving them from the Guardian stock page into his personal Excel sheet, meaning that he bugged them, they were actually the right calls. And there was also this other book the acres of diamond, which I also read while in the Diamond Bank training school. The opportunities are everywhere. They don't exist only in Lagos. They don't exist only in Aba. They don't exist only in my village of Ovim. They don't exist only in America. The question here is that whether you have that antenna, whether you have that capacity to actually piece those signals. And I felt that right there in this bank, those opportunities were also evident. And some of the men and women around me were also going to help me to get into that particular opportunity phase that I needed to be. I relied on them and I made way. So the key thing here is this. You look at when you pay yourself through those 15% investment. You are compounding on the hours and the opportunities available. But I will also say that over time, my priorities changed. I'm no more focusing today on buying stocks in Nigeria Stock Exchange, rather I'm focusing on buying and investing in startups, because now I can take those risks because I have a very, very decent reserve. So as you are planning what you need to do, if irrespective of the phase you are, look at these three things. Are you a growth maker? Are you a growth investor? Someone who you want to buy that particular company, a unit share at 4 naira, and you expect it to grow to 25, 30 naira. So you're looking at appreciation of the share value of that company. That is your investment strategy. Are you also a value picker? Someone who is looking for companies that are ridiculously battered, that their market positioning has weakened temporarily, you feel. So if you buy them when they are nothing, over time, they're also going to do well. If the stock picker of the 21st century, John Templeton, who bought tons of company at the onset of the Second World War, and all those companies later recovered, is a very good example of value picker. And it's also the income chaser. Many people who are retired or retiring, they don't have the capacity to take a lot of risk, but they also not working, and they just want a kind of fixed income coming at the end of the year, end of the quarter, or end of every 6 months. So our point is this. You need to define how you manage your portfolio. You need to know what is it that you want. And it's only you, to a large extent, that can actually begin that conversation with the experts. So just to make it clear to you, that's not here to entertain. What I tell you is how I do it. And it has been exceedingly very, very rewarding. My model is this, that if I could work in the bank for 4 or 5 years, 3, 4, 5, whatever, that every year I work, through the investments I make, I can actually be adding 6 months for every year or 1 year for every year, because I am compounding the value on the salary and wages that the bank had paid. And let me respectfully, humbly share the dividends that I get every year from the Nigeria Stock Exchange. Yes, so just permit me just to show you, just searched one of the banks that I use for this, couple of them, depending on the specific companies that I have invested in. Using a small company I started also during youth service, and now in my own personal capacity. So just using one here, you can do get a lot of really good dividend from the stock exchange, and I can just keep rolling this. It's really, really long, and it comes in. So the implication here is that, hey, he could just move to the village. He could retire. And my life will not be materially affected because of simple investments and decisions that were made over the first 3 years of working. Thank you.